time for the Lowco Sports Lowdown. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett, Wes Kerr, and Max Araj. Hey, Lowco sports fans. Happy Monday. Wes will be joining us a little bit later, but we got Justin Jarrett, Max Araj, and Marcus Walsh, WHHI TV play-by-play extraordinaire, I guess we'll say. How about
Thank
that?
you, pal. Appreciate that.
Welcome, gentlemen, on this rainy, cold evening. We got NFL football. We got a little bit of high school hoops. Not much going on. Kind of a quiet night, which is needed, I think. It's been a grind for everybody. Yeah, it's always nice to have a little bit of a quiet night. But, Max, you got out in the gym tonight, got out and checked out cross, and I guess that's kind of the big news of the day really is the Cross Bridges prep games, and the JP2 played Northwood. So, that's something we can talk about, but we've got the best guy to talk to about such things sitting in the green room. So let's get him in here. We got Coach Fish, Lowco favorite. What's up, buddy?
No, what up, man? How y'all doing?
What's going on?
Doing well, Coach.
Before we do get into the cross stuff, though, since we got you here, Fish, especially, I wanted to kind of clue people into what's going on with One Lowco that Rob Benson and I have been trying to get off the ground for about a year now, just trying to clear all the hurdles and everything and put everything in a row. But big step toward what we want to do with the organization yesterday out in Ville. Had you and Keenan and Robbie over there doing your thing in the gym, had about 20 girls out. I had 6 younger girls out on the softball field just getting in work. Max came out and helped out. Kevin Libby came out and helped out. Max got to swing the fungo for the first time in a long time. It was really cool. It was kind of, a baby step toward what we want it to be. But I know all of us were feeling really pretty fulfilled at the end of it. Like, okay, we've started something here that's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to build it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
sorry. Go ahead, man. You're good.
It was really fun, despite the fact we had, we only had 6 girls on the softball field yesterday, but it was great to work with them and, be able to, teach them, what I can teach them and be able to, improve the game that they have, and so it was really fun, to get back on the field and coach again. It's been a really long time since I coached anything. So to be able to do that, it was a good feeling yesterday, and I'm so happy to be a part of this and be able to help grow these programs that we are trying to build with One Lowco. So it's gonna be a really fun experience, and hopefully for the next clinic we'll get to bring in more girls for softball, which will be really fun.
Oh, we will for sure. I've already had a lot of people reaching out. So, but yeah, Fish, you were a kid in the candy store. Well, Robbie especially was. He had the iPad going, getting the video. He was geeking out. But it was awesome to see you at work. I hadn't really gotten to see you coach in that kind of environment, in a clinic environment, in a practice environment. So that was awesome. But yeah, just your thoughts.
Yeah, I thought it was cool, man. Like you said, we had about 20 girls, middle school, high school, really all different skill levels. I thought that they kind of got separated nicely. But yeah, for me, just seeing 20 girls, some familiar faces, some girls I've never even seen before.
Right.
I know we had a couple girls from Savannah even. So just the reach, things like that. I've got a lot of people reach out who are more interested. And so, I mean, we may have to bring in another coach or something, or may have to cap it at some point. But I think it's cool to just get a whole bunch of girls in the gym, just so they can see, like, yeah, other girls care too. And just get in an environment, allow them to socialize, connect with other girls, and just feel a lot more comfortable. You know what I mean? Even when, like, they'll all compete against one another at some point. I think there are 3 St. Andrews girls.
Oh, okay.
And now I'll be going to following them. You know what I mean? I know they're prep Saturday, so I'll be at that watching them. But the coolest part for me was that there's a lot of young kids.
Right.
I think the oldest kids were maybe sophomores. You know what I mean? Which is still young. So So I think it was a pretty good, especially for our first one. I thought it was pretty cool, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, we didn't even really like publicize it that much. It was kind of a last
Mm.
minute deal that we officially got cleared to go ahead and do it Sunday. We were about to push it back a week, and we were like, well, let's just kind of do a dress rehearsal. And I thought it went off pretty well, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Like I said, a lot of people are reaching out, like, hey, how can we get involved with this? So there's plenty of opportunity to coach kids if you just put yourself out there and give your time. There's kids will show up and get the work, and I think we kind of
Mhm.
prove that. If you just say, even day of, if you say, hey, we're going to be out here if you want to get some work, people show up and they get better. So that's the message we want to send, and we want to create that opportunity where it hasn't existed to really, like, we have these facilities, whether they're county rec facilities or our school facilities, that they're built for the kids with our tax dollars, and they're sitting empty way too often
Oh
for
yeah.
my taste,
Absolutely.
like, and so let's find a way to leverage that resource that we have and
Hmm.
connect the kids who want to use it to it, and make sure that it's being used well. So
And,
that's what
Yeah,
we're
I
and
mean,
trying to do. And
for me, to be honest, that's the saddest part, I guess, about the area. Cause I know, like, growing up in Charlotte, I know how important like high school sports was. So like I know
yeah,
how available the gyms were. I know that
yeah,
even going through middle school, like obviously I've talked about the quality of coach before, but just like even facilities being open.
yeah,
And I know having been working at a school, like, man, it's hard to get in the gym. If I wanted to go get in the gym middle of the day, I had a parent reach out to go work somebody out middle of the day and
Right.
couldn't even get in the
right.
gym anywhere.
Yeah.
Um, so I think it's interesting, man. Like, a lot of these people say that they're for the kid, but I think a lot of these people are, especially with these schools, tend to, just try to find a position of power where they can see fit. And
yep,
I don't know. I think that they think that they're doing. I have no idea. I think that there's a level of self importance to some of these people that, I mean, bro, we're in the low country. Like, you got a
yep,
gym, like, open it up for kids. Like, what are you tying it down for?
right,
Um,
right.
Yep.
and I mean,
Well,
I
and
firsthand experience.
okay, I may be getting on a soapbox now, but one thing that drives me crazy is people that will say out of one side of their mouth, like, oh, well, youth sports is just broken. It just costs so much, just people can't afford it, blah, 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 blah. And then be charging, $120 for a 45-minute lesson or something on the other side. And it's like, well, hold up now. how,
Yeah,
how
right.
does
Yeah.
this work
That's
out?
ridiculous.
Like, or run
Absolutely
an
ridiculous.
organization that it costs $3,000 a season to play for. And it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Do you mean what you're saying, or are you actually like
But
complaining about it while
man,
then taking advantage of it? Like, I don't know.
yeah, I mean, it's always been weird to me because, like, it's like youth sports is always taught by who, you know what I mean? So like, you kind of got to question think because for me, it's like when I was looking for a trainer, well, who was I going to go to? It's like at some point, I'm not gonna find somebody who was better than me. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
I met some trainers who, yeah, when I tore my labrum my senior year in college, the ones who stuck around me were the ones who, yeah, they already had success themselves in the
Hmm.
athletic realm. You know what I mean? They weren't trying to bite off of a kid or make money off of a kid. Like for
Yeah.
me, like, nobody made me quit playing. You get what I'm saying? Like, I still had offers to keep playing for money. I chose not to stop playing. Like, a
Yeah.
lot of people, they get told you're not good enough, and
Right.
it's
Right.
like they start projecting all their past stuff and
Yeah.
like what coaches
There's
have
Yeah.
a
said.
bitterness there. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And so that's even why I even got into the youth game to begin with, because like for me and being as talented as I was, like, yeah, I had a lot of people blowing smoke up my butt, but I also saw how ugly it got,
Right.
and how ugly adults were and how selfish
Yep.
they were. I had people trying to make a name off me. Um and things like that, man. So I think that there's a lot of self-importance that goes on with some of these adults, and it's bad out here. Hopefully we can start opening up, giving kids more opportunity. to be successful, because I know there are kids out here who do want to move on to the next thing. And we've seen it in football. You know what I mean? I'm watching Jalen Sneed on the 20th. You get what
Hell
I'm
yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot more athletes who can do it than have gone and done it.
That's it.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah,
Like
right.
the people who blew the smoke weren't necessarily wrong. Like they really were legitimate athletes, a lot of these kids, but no one showed them the right path and kept them on it.
Mhm.
Like
Right.
there were a lot of people pulling them in the wrong direction in many cases, or
I've had that
just
happen
not
to me.
not
Yeah.
focusing them on the right things. And
But
so
then there's
that's kind of
also
the
a
gap we're
side.
trying to fill.
But there's also a side to that of not knowing. You know what I
Right.
mean?
No,
Like, 'cause
100%.
Yeah.
The
even
education piece
marketing,
is a huge piece of it.
because I've even talked to Rob about like the anxiety that comes with sports, and that some of it
Yeah.
comes from the marketing of these companies telling you it's 24/7 and ball is life and blah blah blah. But like the reality is, they're not like that. Like what's
No,
real is
and
that guys aren't like
you
that.
got to have some balance in your life too, or
No
that's
doubt.
where
You're gonna
burnout
get
comes
burnout.
in, and I mean, there's that stuff's real. Like
And that's just
mental
not
health.
sports. That's life in general.
Fish, I'm sure you can speak to how important your mental health is to your performance. I mean, if you're going through it, you're not going to play well. Like you've got to have everything in order in your life to perform at your top level, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I dealt with that my junior year when I had a coaching change.
Yeah.
And so me and my coach were going at it. You know what I mean? From my junior year to my senior year, and you could tell in my numbers. You go up and look at my numbers dipped. Like then my points went up, but like percentages started
Yeah.
going down. But I honest to God think that a lot of people just know one way. And that's the
Yeah.
only way that they know, and that they haven't been around enough
Yeah.
people or are open enough to enough people to like realize they're
Mhm.
not you. So even for me in coaching, like I got some kids, they're not me. Like at the end of the day, yeah, you gotta be a psycho still to move on. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And to play at certain
Yeah.
levels, but I can't expect that from some of the girls I was coaching. Like one
Right.
loves model stuff and is obsessed with that. Like, okay, why am I gonna sit here and ask you to be in the gym like that's not even you? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that
100%.
like, but honestly, I didn't learn that until I got into the G League, like where coaches started treating you as a human. You know what I mean? And like there's a human
Yeah.
element to sports. Like even us talking about prep the one time, yeah, they played how many games and how many days? Like the human side
Right.
kicked in. And I
Yep.
think that a lot of people miss that part because they're so At the same, like I said, some people just don't know. I mean, I think some people may mean
Yeah.
well. I get upset at the people who somewhat know and know better than what they're doing. You know, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
know they
Yep.
know they're doing kids wrong, but
Yes.
They
those are
don't
the
do
people
anything to
who,
stop it.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just
Like
keep doing it.
they're not you're not in their best interests. Like
Right. Yep.
they're not thinking about you fully. Like I mean, I remember having that when I was playing baseball. I remember I had two coaches who, out of all the coaches I had only two coaches who really like pushed me to be the best I could possibly be. And those coaches were Mike Cherry and Rick Norton, two guys who played the game at the pro level and the college level. Guys who understood what it meant to what youth sports meant, because both of their kids had been through the youth sports rotation, and they had seen what being in someone's best interest is. They had understood that, but they had also seen the other side where you just had a coach who just didn't really care. And I had
I,
quite a few of those in my time, and it
I
was it
think
was it was hard.
I think there's a trickle down there, right? Like Fish, you kind of touched on it, and then Max kind of, I don't know if he intentionally went there, but went to the same place. It's guys who made it. And so in order to make it, you've probably had to have somebody who made it kind of mentor you along the way.
Right.
And you want to pay that forward. And I mean, that's kind of what you were getting at, Fish. The guys who really helped you get the last, leg of the journey were guys who had been through it and just wanted to help the next generation along.
But I think the way he said though, like that's how important you sport. Like you remember the name of your coaches. Like that's how much your coaches impact you.
Yeah.
And for me, it's always been like I'm a coach you to the human, to where if this is what you want to do, then my coaching you as a human, cool, like you'll pursue it. Everything else will be a byproduct. So regardless of what it's going to be with, like even with winning games, like we're about to talk about it, man. Like I know what Skeeza is. I know what the level of Skeeza is, right? So like
same.
Like to the point I've expressed to my girls, like I told them, y'all record to me last year was 3-4. Like y'all, like the teams you play, like no shade, but like they can't play. Like
we weren't in the
you don't need
same
a coach to
division.
beat them.
Like
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So like I always, which is why I get so hot watching them, because like it was always for me about showing you the right way to do things. So like if you're reaching against Holy Trinity, I'm gonna get just as mad if you're reaching against JP2.
Right.
It's like
just because you can get away with it doesn't mean you can do it.
We played Marlboro County over Thanksgiving, beat them by 25. And them girls knew not to talk to me for probably 2-3 hours after that game because I was so upset. No, honest to God, like it's
I feel you, man.
You
it
know
matters.
What I mean? But like
what happens matters, but how it happens matters more.
Yeah, man. Now I'm watching this crap, and it's like, okay, cool. We can go double girls who can't dribble, and now it's what's gonna happen when you play somebody who can't? Now, granted, I made the schedule, so I front loaded our schedule. I know what's on the schedule. You know what I mean? So they'll be fine, like going through 2A, but like Skeeza 2A may be the worst basketball division in America. I think 1A is better. When you throw in Curtis Baptist,
I 100% agree.
I mean, people could feel however they want to feel, but like at the end of the day, to get this area better and to make it move forward, we have to start with reality first. Like, ain't nothing wrong with what reality is, but like, let's start with where we are so we can help it move forward.
Amen,
that's all I'm
brother.
trying to say.
You're not moving forward, you're standing still or even moving backwards.
That's right.
So,
Yeah,
but if we live in delusion and say all these kids are just so good and just so like,
right,
then we're fooling ourselves and we're hurting the kids. Is more so how
That's
I feel
right.
about it.
Yeah, I can speak on behalf of former Skeeza athletes and say there are some teams we played that just weren't it.
Do you know how ridiculous Zion looked in Skeeza sports?
Oh, all right.
Zion was ridiculous.
Speaking of which, our school played them. I
That's
think it was his sophomore year. We played them his sophomore year in the playoffs. We had to travel up there to play him. Thank God it wasn't on that basketball team because I watched him come out onto the court.
Yeah, because you'd have been playing 5. You've been trying to guard Zion.
I was.
That'd be a matchup.
You've been posterized many times, bro.
Actually, no, I wasn't a middle schooler. I was in high school at that time. So I traveled up with the team and the rest of the fans and stuff like that, and we just watched Zion came out onto the court, and we are like, it's gonna be a long night.
Oh, bro. I mean, I didn't see Zion in person, but I saw Middleton play against Prep and Christian back in the day.
Oh, that's right.
And he wasn't even.
There you go.
He didn't have the body he has now, but it was still it was a different species out there.
I just knew, like, just watching him come out on the floor and then seeing the rest of his team, I was like, this dude doesn't belong here.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, he's
so funny.
Zion's crazy.
He was stupid.
But all right, let's shift gears. And that was a great discussion, though. I appreciated it, and I like front loading it with a little,
like you said,
thoughtful conversation.
Before we continue, like we mentioned how these facilities aren't being used enough.
Yeah,
I saw that softball field when I came out on Sunday, and I was like, God, this thing hasn't been used in a minute. It's been a minute since that field was used, and I hope it's in good shape because
I think I was the last one who used it. I think I was the last one.
That's probably right.
Back in the fall,
because that softball field's been sitting there since. Good Lord, I don't even know how often.
Well, I mean, we have a JV team, last year.
That's right. Yeah,
and we'll have a varsity team this year. It has gotten usage, but it's been, no one's used it over the winter. Like I last used it in the fall, I think, for a practice. But no, we have great facilities out there.
They
we
are
have
great.
we have great playing surfaces. We need to build up
Yes.
our facilities,
I
and that's
think
coming. But we have really good playing surfaces, and they're perfectly usable fields, and so we're going to try to to get people on
including
it.
the football
So.
field. I mean, y'all could do football clinics in the fall.
Well, that's
football.
well, soccer. We're gonna fill it up with
Or
soccer real
yeah.
easily. we got
Yeah.
like 9 nations represented on our boys soccer
Man,
team.
what's up with like the privates, man? Like in Charlotte, man, everybody works out of Charlotte Christian, Charlotte Latin.
Yeah,
I've been there. Like,
I don't know.
If
Maybe people are
I
afraid to
could-
go there because they think they're gonna recruit them or something. I don't know. There's a lot of weirdness about that.
that goes back to my me
I could,
saying
I'd be using
self-important.
Christian Academy's baseball field right now
Yeah.
for a clinic. Like, honestly. Like, because you want to talk about facilities, then, I mean, private schools have the facilities, obviously, but
Yeah.
I'm
I've
saying,
never
like, what are
understood,
we
I've
trying
never
to be?
understood it.
Like, what are we
Yeah, well,
trying to be? Like, who
I've never
cares?
understood why communities don't use those facilities for more stuff. I don't
I
know
think
if
we
it's
can sum it
branding,
up, Fish, with territorial pissing.
Yep, pretty much.
I mean, my
probably-
word though. Yeah,
That's
I
probably
don't know.
what. Yeah.
It's crazy,
Anyway,
but it is what it
Lowco
is.
Hoops, high school sports, but yeah. Back to it.
Yeah.
To it.
If you ain't part of the problem, or if you ain't part of the solution, you're part of the problem, right? So One Lowco, baby. All right. So our presenting sponsor of the show tonight, and our all-star sponsor, is Mickelson Law Firm. They've been with us since the beginning, providing all kinds of legal services. They're our official real estate closing attorney and presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage. So if you have legal needs, get with Mickelson Law Firm, original sponsor and all-star sponsor of LowcoSports. All right, boys, we had some hoops tonight in the Reef. Was it you who dubbed it the Reef, Fish, or was that Doc's creation?
Does that sound like me?
Yeah, not so much.
That was Doc. Yeah.
Actually, Rob might have been involved in that as well.
Yeah, I think the school calls it the sandbar. Or that's the
Yeah, they
student
call it the
section.
sandbar. I don't know why. I'd call it the Reef. It sounds better.
Yeah, I prefer
Anyway.
the Reef.
Hey
I'm
man,
just gonna say-
don't speak your opinions out too loud around there, man.
I'm not on the payroll. I don't have to worry
like
about
that.
it.
Good point.
You know, like-
I will. I'll stop where I'm at. I will. If I could say about this game.
What they say goes, man. What they say goes.
Also, I kind of agree with you, Fish. Like, we were watching this game, and I think Cross could do a bit better, like on all facets of the game. I think
Bro, they have talent. They have talent.
They do.
Like
They have the talents there, and they possibly are one of the more talented teams in this area. But I think the way they move the ball around is just—it's not there.
It looks to me like they're just kind of going through the motions. You know, I mean,
that's exactly right. Like
they're doing as much as they have to do, and that you mentioned just the details, the little things that you can get away with against an inferior opponent. Those become turnovers against a real team, and you can't just flip the switch. You can't just flip the switch.
Nah, you can't. I will say though, Bridges does have a couple young girls who, I mean, they aren't bad.
Yeah, Michaela Lapp's really solid.
They have I think an 8th grader, like number 4 wasn't bad. Obviously, they got Addie Kate inside. She's not bad.
The Taylor girl.
Still learning her body.
That's the boys' game.
Yeah, that's the boys.
Yep, we've shifted gears to the boys.
I will say, and I don't mean to embarrass anyone, but I will say Bridges did start their entire bench to start out the game.
Good JV.
Well, I talked to Darius before the game. Obviously, they got that game tomorrow. So they wanted to give some of their younger guys some run.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean that's the way you play this kind of game on a Monday before a region game on Tuesday, and then you got another one on Friday. Yeah, you can't play your starters in this game.
I got it.
So what if you lose?
Yeah, that's a good question. They were up only 11 at the half, but
it was never in doubt.
Yeah, it was never in doubt.
It was never in doubt.
I left it at halftime for a reason. I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but
once again, man, like how do you come out full court pressing Bridges prep, man?
They got guards for
Like, how
days.
do you, when you, I mean, looking at your roster, right? Like, you have to put them in the best position to
I
succeed,
mean,
man. At some
yeah,
point,
Right.
because it's clear and obvious who has the height advantage in this game.
the
That's
height, the
one thing.
athletes,
Physical
like
advantage as well. Like they're just
The ball handlers.
here's how
Well, and that kind of
I'm gonna
goes
have to
back
ask,
to Fish.
so,
We've talked about it before, but the idea that like there's not just one way. You can't just play one way all the time. A good coach is going to scout you and make you do something else, and if you don't have anything else, you're dead. So
and I've
Yeah.
been
you got to
there.
be more
I've been
versatile.
there. I've coached that girls team. I know what they have. I've been around the boys team. I know what they have. For them to be sitting there playing the same way is to each his own. To each his own there, man. I think there's a knowledge of system, but
Yeah,
I mean
yeah,
it's
and
the
with the
same
right
thing last year. I mean,
personnel, with the right
I
personnel,
don't mind
the
saying it. I
system
don't mind
works.
saying
It's
it
just
because
not.
like this is all stuff I've said to Doc. I mean, I
Yeah,
battled him all year last year over the boys, and I mean the thing is with press, if you don't have the athletes to cover, I mean it's simple mathematics. If you don't have the athletes to cover the surface area of the floor, then you're just spreading people out and you're leading to easy buckets in transition going the other
right.
way. Like how
You're
many
just
times
creating
is it gonna have
lanes.
to be a
Yeah,
2-on-1 for you to like shrink the floor, like lower the possessions in the game because you don't have the skill to go get 70 points a game. Like,
yeah, yeah,
right.
and that makes me like
Well,
because I don't know the roster well enough because I haven't paid attention to cross boys basketball, but
yeah,
I
there
wonder
hasn't.
how young of a team are they? Like, are they? I
I
don't know what they
mean,
look like on the roster.
Is it
I
going?
mean, they got Ross Peary. He's solid. He's a freshman. I think that he can be all right. I thought Trent played well tonight. Trent Luchterfeld, number 11. He's a junior though, so like I mean, they're not necessarily too young. I mean, man,
Yeah,
look, at the end of the day, man, that athletic program looks the same across the board.
Yeah.
I don't really.
Yeah,
I
it's just
mean,
been hard for anybody to really get much traction there. I mean, you guys were, other than they've had
think you
like
got
good
Keith Brooken. You
soccer
got Keith
programs and
Brooken who
stuff, but
tried.
yeah,
You got Brooklyn who
exactly.
tried. You got Clifford who's at Caldwell Academy
Yeah,
in North Carolina right now who was a
yeah,
dog. He tried. I mean, you got me. I tried. I mean, I don't necessarily think they're too. I mean, the AD told my girls that Cross isn't looking to become an athletic powerhouse. So I mean
yeah.
that.
Well, and
I
that's
mean that.
I mean,
that's
to
fine,
each his
but
own, as you said. That's know what you are, but if you're
I
not
mean
looking to become an athletic powerhouse, don't
that
bring in a whole travel team.
well, that's what I'm thinking. Like,
Right.
if that's fine and all, but if that's the case, why bring in athletic programs?
Right. Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
Well,
if you just
here's
want
the
to be
thing. That's not what I was told when I got there. I mean,
right,
they got a new AD though. They got a new
the
AD.
vision changed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
So
that's the
So
AD's
that's the
best
thing. You
interest.
got to decide what you
I mean,
want to be.
we just talked about best interests and coaches. If that's an AD's best interest, then
Well,
what?
that's a good point. If you're the AD
Not a
and
good
your
one.
philosophy is we're not trying to become an athletic powerhouse, that's a curious,
If you're not
curious
What are
trying
we
to
stance.
build
doing?
your athletic, if
yeah,
you're not trying to build your athletic programs, why are
allegedly,
It's
you
a
that's
bold
there?
what I was
strategy, Cotton. It's a bold strategy,
It's a
Cotton.
really bold strategy. Like, if your goal is not to build up these athletic programs, why are you there? Like,
Yeah.
You
what
should
is the purpose of you being there? Like,
probably
this
should
is
go into a different
this is why we
field.
cover sports. We want to see athletic programs at multiple schools grow,
Succeed.
like Hardyville.
Right.
Hardyville is restarting most of their programs.
Yep.
They're trying to build those programs up. I know they're
We
trying to build
grinding
those.
too.
Well, that should be the priority. If the athletic
No,
director
they're
is
trying
trying
to
to
build those
build
programs. Yeah,
successful teams, but I mean, obviously, high school is different than when you're athletic director at the high school level. There's more to it than just winning. You're
Mhm.
it's a as they say, it's an educational experience. Like you're trying
Sure.
to.
and that's true.
There's more to it than just winning at the high school level. Now, college is
Absolutely.
different. College is
Yeah.
different. I mean, you're
But
That's very true, Wes. But
there's more to it than winning, but it's still about developing the kids and
right.
giving them the best opportunity that you
if I'm
Because
possibly can.
here's my philosophy. I think it's a problem when your coaches focus on winning. And my
I
thing
agree.
is, you could tell my girls all the time. Like I used to tell them all the time, our goal was never even a state championship. Like all that was going to be a byproduct of the things that we did in practice the way that we
Correct.
competed in games. It was all a byproduct. It was always a
Process.
secondary thought for me.
Whatever
You know what I
happens,
mean?
happens.
Yep.
Right.
Trust the
Now
process.
that's
You know, like I was saying, you know,
Yep.
Justin knows Hardyville High School has just restarted up the school
grinding,
itself,
bro.
and they're trying to build these
It's hard.
programs. They're actually attempting to try and build these programs. If an athletic director is not trying to build athletic programs both educationally and, you know, athletically and, you know, as a whole,
Aesthetically.
why? What's
for
the
the
point?
kids.
You know?
Yeah.
I won't say that. I mean, he is trying to build athletic programs. I mean, I've seen successful athletic programs. I mean, my
Yeah.
sister was on 2 top 25 high school teams. Like, I played on a top 25 baseball team in high
Right.
school. Like, I've seen commonalities between successful programs. Even like listening to some of the coaches I had growing up, like I always learned something from them.
Yeah.
Right. So like
Yeah.
just saying like I care more about the human than winning. Like I could care less about winning. Like I just said, especially in skis, like I know what it is.
Right.
I just think he has a
Right.
different idea about athletics. I don't know what his reference point is because I don't necessarily know if he was one. I don't think his kids are. So yeah, the way I've always seen things done, it just didn't line up with how I've always seen it. Coming from my mom who scored 1,300 at UNC Wilmington, my sister played at
Wow.
Liberty, my little brother played. And I grew up with my first day in high school. I go to strength and conditioning. I got Pat Summon in there because I'm there with a McDonald's All-American. I had played with a girl, like grew up with her though, so I've always been
Right.
around. You know what I mean? So
Right.
from what my eyes have seen, it just didn't line up from what he has seen, which I don't know what that is.
Right.
So I mean,
I
yeah,
don't know
to
what
each
that
his
is
own,
either.
man.
Well, and that's where we want to get, right? We want to get where it's not uncommon to casually be working out next to somebody like that. Like it'll
Right.
take a long time, but that's where we want to get. But it takes one
it's hard.
person
It's hard
making
to
it and then
think
another
that
person
can
making
happen.
it.
But the thing
Mm.
is, like, what happened for me in that moment was I saw that, oh, this is real. Like, this
Yeah.
is something that can actually happen.
And that's
But to
what
just
Puna
sit
Ford
here and
and
just scoff
Jalen
off
Sneed
athletics,
and
100%.
and to
Yep.
sit here and just scoff off athletics as if, you know what I mean? It's like, yo, like,
yeah.
I know what athletics is
And that-
done.
Yeah, and that's
Well,
what some of the best athletes from this area have, you know, been able to experience. You know, like Justin was mentioned, Boone Ford, Jalen Sneed, Nick Pringle. You know,
Michael
all-
Julian.
Who was there after the
Go-
game with Jalen
going back.
Sneed? Who was there? That was his coach.
BJ
right?
Payne.
High school coach?
BJ Payne.
Yeah.
But you see how
The
much
coach-
his high school coach it was invested,
Yep.
how much he kicked. Like those are the
He's
things that
one of the
matter,
good
man. Like,
ones.
He's
Yeah.
he's a great one.
He's a
He's
great
one of
one.
the good
Good.
ones.
He's great. You know, he's fantastic. You know,
Yeah,
and that's
he's
what
one of the best.
You know, I want to see more coaches like that in this area, and I know there are a lot of coaches like that in this area. And I just, you know, I want to see it.
Look,
you know,
I mean,
wanna
it's a
I wanna have
luxury.
every kid have the
And-
experience with a great
It's a
coach.
luxury that BJ is able to go and do those things that not everybody has. You know, a lot of these coaches are grinding 80-hour weeks during the season and they got families at home and stuff. So like no shade on anybody who can't jet all over the country and
They
be
are-
by their kids' sides.
the
But
thing is, like I've been around long enough to like know some the coaches around here now. Like a lot of coaches are grinding, man. I'm telling you, there's some who get handcuffed by
There
their
are a lot.
administrator.
absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's a lot of times the administration who handcuffs them.
Yeah,
There are
we're
a
we're
lot of
not
good
saying
grinding.
like all the coaches here suck by any means.
No.
We have
No,
a lot of great
absolutely
coaches.
not.
We're just saying there are instances where the idea that the kid doesn't really get a fair shake because of whatever reason that their coach has, it's real in some circumstances. And
I know with that.
and
I
that's why I
absolutely
don't get
with
fussy
that.
when people go in that transfer portal. Like, man, if a family needs to make a decision that's better for their kid, I don't think we should be making them jump through so many hoops. Frankly, I think they should be able to get where they need to be. But I know it's a Wild West scenario if you take all the reins off. So you got to have some limitations on it. But I think we're getting we're getting closer to where we need to be as far as, it's not as hard anymore to get where you need to be in a advantageous
The best
situation.
possible situation for you,
And I also
I
don't
think
advocate for jumping around either, but
I don't think
if you
I don't
find
think it should
yourself
be
in an untenable situation.
Yeah, I don't think it should be so easy to transfer. Especially you see what happened in college. But even in the instance with even with our girls, there were multiple who tried to transfer at the semester but weren't going to be eligible to play second semester. So they
Yeah.
came back and ended up staying. And for me, just watching them play in the gym, it was cool watching them all play. Obviously without PJ, but all the other ones, just watching them still play together.
Yeah.
It was a joy for me to watch still, because like I said, they do have a lot of talent still on that team. We're just missing one piece at this point, who's a big piece, but they still have a lot of talent over there. So I just enjoy watching them play still. I'm glad they're back on the court. I think they would be in the top 5 power rankings personally. I don't think they'd be one.
Yeah,
I still think JP2.
I think they'll
mainly
be
because
in
of
there
coaching.
now. Yeah.
I still think JP2 is one mainly because of coaching, but
Should we get into the power rankings?
they
Let's
got
do
Prep
it.
next
Yeah,
up. I think the
first,
girls play Prep.
I want to hear about Coach Archibald and how they're doing on the boys' side so far, and how they've
Not great.
improved.
Not good.
Yeah, he just talked about that a lot before you came on. And
Yeah, it wasn't. Let's put it this way: it wasn't a great experience. It was just two.
It wasn't a great showing tonight.
Unevenly matched teams. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
One team who had significantly more talent than the other, height advantage, physical advantage. It was just a mismatch of a game. But I'm glad I got to see both teams because I hadn't seen Bridges Prep yet this year. So I'm glad I got
put
to
some
see them
respect
play.
on Bridges, man. Put some respect on Bridges, man.
For real.
I
I think that's a good point, because we were pretty critical of them after the Bluffton tournament because they didn't have a very good showing, but they looked solid against Whale Branch the other night, and I think they're finding that kind of happy medium between chaos all the time and getting lost in the half court at times, and they're starting to find the right rhythm.
I will say too, even with Amarion, man, I know y'all want him in the paint, but when I watch him play, I don't even really see him as a big man. Just from I don't think his skill set is a big. I don't think he necessarily enjoys being down there and banging and being physical. Come from somebody I had to play center in high school.
Yeah.
And I typically roamed around that 3-point line, man. And in the mid range, you know what I mean? I just don't think that's his skill set per se. I think he is more like a wing.
He definitely is naturally. I just think there are times where they could create a matchup advantage with him in there. That's all I mean. But he's really good in that high post, and he's nice in the pick and roll, and he can stroke that three now. He's worked on it, you can tell. So it's hard to sometimes when you just get to see somebody once or twice and they might have an off game, and that it just kind of changes what you see with your eyes always weighs heavier, and so, but no, obviously we've watched him since he was in 8th grade. He's evolved tremendously and matured a good bit, and sky's still the limit. I think you think he's got a shot to play somewhere?
I think he could. Now, I don't necessarily know what level.
I wouldn't know where, but I agree. He's definitely good enough to play somewhere.
He's better than people I've seen play in college. I'll say that. I don't know what level again. Like I said, I don't know what level, but
right. I don't either. But I think there's a program out there somewhere if that's what he and I would assume that's what he aspires to. He's been on that path for a long time. I don't know where the academics are and stuff like that. That's all. There's a big Venn diagram involved in all that, right, Fish? You got to find the sweet spot that checks all the boxes. But there's a spot out there for him, I would think, even if it's go to JUCO and grind for a year or two and see what transpires, which is a great path.
I mean, that size who can handle and shoot. I mean, don't necessarily
Right.
fall like trees, man.
No, exactly. I mean, and yeah, there's there's not a lot of that. That's the kind of thing that gets you to rise above what anybody thought you could be if you grind, if you put in the work and develop the rest of it. But we want to get into power rankings? Let's do a few sponsors real quick. MVP sponsors. We got Base Hit Life, our baseball and softball apparel sponsor. Check them out at basehitlife.com for cool t-shirts, hats, hoodies, and more with cool baseball and softball themes. Basehitlife.com to live your best base hit life. Homegrown home inspections. Have them check out that home before you buy it, or have them check on your new build every step of the way with their phased inspection. They'll check on it every step of the way at Homegrown Home Inspections. Hospice Care of the Low Country, now part of Mirasol Health, providing compassionate care for life's most challenging moments. And USCB Center for Low Country Hospitality Education, keeping people in the know about the Lowco and what makes it great. Check them out. Beautiful campus on Hilton Head Island. All right. Any quick thoughts before we launch into power rankings? Or who wants to go first? How do we want to do this? Marcus, you said you had your top 5 ready to go?
I have my top 5 ready to go. Worked at it and did a whole bunch of stuff this morning.
All right.
I'll start off with the girls first. Couple of situations that had me thinking multiple teams. I have to go with JP2 at number 1. They are playing just really inspired basketball right now. I saw them again last week, and they just look really good. Nothing really standing in their way despite injuries over the last couple of weeks from the holiday. I've got Hilton Head Prep at 2. Buford has surged lately, and looking at the scoreboard, I really look forward to seeing them soon in action as well. I put them at 3. Hilton Head's been up and down. They had the big win against Bluffton the other night. I didn't have enough not to put them in my top 5. I've got them at 4. I was debating on whether to have possibly Bluffton at 5, somebody else from the Low Country. Thinking back to that big tournament that I saw a lot of in Bluffton, I'm going with Hampton County at number 5. I'm going to go outside of my window of teams that I'm really looking at that I'm going to be calling. I'm going to go with Hampton County at 5. They continue to win and win some big games. They're on a good winning streak. That's my top 5 for the ladies.
Yep. All right, so you got
where's the big board?
JP2, Hilton Head Prep, Buford. Yeah, I need to update it, so it's kind of out of date. So you went Hilton Head at 4.
That's right.
And then Hampton
at 5. County at 5 for the girls.
All right. I can live with it. Who wants to present their girls next?
Go on, Wes. Have a go.
Ooh.
Do you need the big board? I can try to work on.
No, I can run it off the top of my head.
When you get it,
yeah, me
too. I would love the big board.
Yeah. No, it's just fine. I don't. There's some things that I gotta do that I don't put up there until very late as well. So, no problem.
There's too many things.
Yeah, no, there's a lot to worry about.
So who you got at 1? By the way, JP2 did lose tonight, 50-38 to Northwood.
Yeah.
Northwood's a good team. A good
Northwood's solid. Lauren Majorkowitz had she was 10 for 10 from the line, had 17.
Wow.
Lily Turney had 6.
Both of them.
What's that?
I like both of them, man.
Yeah,
I do too. I like that team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I still like JP2 at number 1. I don't think anyone else has really done enough to overtake them at this point where they are. So I still have them at number 1 as of now. Then it gets a little interesting because you have Hilton Head Prep, who's still off to a solid start. And then you have some high school league girls teams that are really
I'll
starting
tell
to
you,
impress.
Buford,
Literally, Buford,
Buford's on a roll.
Janiyah Hayward,
Carlton County.
Janiyah Hayward is straight balling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry
She
yesterday.
was on.
Look forward to seeing her.
I'm going to
Yep.
put them at number 2. I'm going to put Prep at 3. And then Hilton Head 4. I liked how they played against Bluffton, and I guess it's time to put Cross in there for what they've been doing when they're at full strength. I think they're going to return the rankings at number 5. I just don't see at this point.
Yeah.
I
might even put them higher. So you had JP2 at 1.
JP2. I had Buford's, Hilton Head Prep, Hilton Head High, and Cross.
Okay. Yep. All right. I can live with that as well. Max, you ready?
Yeah. JP2 at 1. That's an obvious one for me, I think, for right now. But I have a feeling there are some teams creeping up on them sooner rather than later, maybe. I'm going to put Buford at 2.
Those are last week's rankings. There's your big board.
Yeah, I have not seen them yet, but from the way they've been playing as of late, and the games that they've had as of recently, I like the way they're playing. I need to go watch them. One day I got to go watch them, but I got to put them at 2. I think Prep's not that far behind at 3.
Right.
4. Yeah, I'm gonna put Hilton Head at 4. I think they've been playing well.
They had a good week.
They did have a good week. It's tough between 4 and 5. I think this is closer than people realize. 5 for me, I got to go with Wes. Like he pretty much stole my top 5. I got to put Cross in at 5. From what I saw tonight, while they need some fine tuning, they need to be able to play the game better. I think talent wise, it's there, and I think they're going to roll through the 2A division. I mean, there's no doubt there. In my mind, that they're just going to roll through that 2A division.
At least for a while.
They need to improve. They need to improve on a few things. So for that reason, I'm putting them at 5, but they could easily be higher for me if need be. So
all right, Fish, you wanna make a spin at it? You want to join the poll this week?
We doing talent. We doing everything in totality, man.
Everything in totality.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Basically,
I got
I mean, it's power rankings, so it's like if they're going to head right now, plus what is happening.
Oh, if they're going head to head right now,
I mean, it's kind of both of those things, right? Like,
I got
what has happened
Head-to-head
combined
record.
with where they are right now, sort of.
All right, I would go just from going through it, knowing what everybody has. I would go JP2 1.
Yeah.
I would go Buford 2.
Yeah.
I would go Cross 3, Prep 4, and then flip a coin at 5, man.
Right.
Nah, I would go May River before that girl got injured.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But she's out.
Flip a coin at that point for 5. But Cross plays Prep next week.
It's tight. It's close for sure.
Flip.
That 4 or 5 range.
Right. On any given night, pretty much, and in a lot of these matchups. I'm inclined to still got JP2 1, but I think it's pretty narrow with Buford 2, and I'm torn. This is where I'm really torn. Flip a coin. I'll go Prep 3 right now with what they are right now, and Cross 4. And then I think I'm going with Marcus on this one and going Hampton at 5. I like they're definitely moving in the right direction.
No question.
And they're that region, I think they've got a chance to pick up steam
Yeah.
there. Now, what that means in the postseason is yet to be seen, but I like the way they're playing right now. Tre'Vea Henderson's really playing well. Lyric is we know what she's capable of when she's at the top of her game, and
I mean,
I think they're starting to put
their
them
only
together.
losses this year are May River, Colleton County, Hilton Head Prep, and May River. So they've
Yeah, and I know. Geez, maybe I should.
May River
May River
team
should
right
probably
now,
be
which
ahead of
is
them,
not
right?
full strength, but I think I can see why you go Hampton County and at this, especially the last 2 wins ever since the new year. They've been blowing out Battery Creek and Edisto, games that they should win, but they've won by big margins. And so, and then did we get a score? Oh, actually, they played tomorrow. They play tomorrow at Barnwell.
Yeah,
Barnwell tomorrow. That's a big one for them.
Yeah, I think that 3-4 and actually no, I would say 4-5, and then whoever's like sitting in the spot right outside are all as close together as it can be.
I think
so, whatever order you put,
4
is totally fine.
2 through 4 splitting heads or splitting hairs, and then so is 4 through 6 more or less.
I think like
5 through 7.
Cross. Yeah, like we could put all 3 of those teams in any order possible, and it'd be totally fine. Like, is it?
Yeah, I think
Cross will wax.
I think Cross would be any of them, honestly.
I agree.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't know. I would. Yeah, I mean,
listen. End of the day,
right now, but I mean, I could have easily put them top 3 if I needed to, but I think I got to put them at 5 because, like Fish said earlier in the show, and I noticed tonight, like even against a team like Bridges Prep, who's just not, they're not there yet.
They're young.
They're a team on the rise, but they're not there yet. I could tell that Cross needed to figure some things out, some fine tune some things, be able to pass the ball around better, and for that reason, I got to put them at 5. But I could put them at anything higher than 5 right now if I needed to.
Yeah. So we got essentially Cross and Hilton Head are tied for 4th and 5th. So they're T4 in our new power rankings. Beaufort ascends to number 2. But Janiah Hayward is the truth, boys. What you have 23-9 in their first game last week, and then she had 31 and the 9 was steals, by the way, and then 31 and 12 steals in their second game of the week against Colleton.
I feel like Cross and Beaufort would be an interesting matchup.
It would be a very interesting matchup.
If you want Cross to face the team who knows how to play basketball well, Beaufort would be.
Beaufort crushed them, but they were down like 3 kids, right? 2 or 3 kids. Yeah.
But Jania and Dalia were both at One Lowco training yesterday.
Yeah, they were. They were, and they look good too. They look sharp. Dalia is
she can shoot that thing,
something,
man.
Right? She's gonna be really something,
good.
Right?
She's gonna be really good, man. She can shoot it.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive to watch them work. I hadn't seen them in person. I got to get out to some Beaufort games when they get over here to Bluffton and May River for sure.
I'm working in Beaufort too, like literally my job.
You're right there.
You're
right there.
They got Bishop England
from Battery Creek as well.
They sure do.
I got to get
I'm gonna see the Beaufort Bluffton games on the 28th. If you want to join me, Max.
There you go.
I'm gonna make the trip.
Bishop England at Beaufort tomorrow night.
They got Bluffton too this week, I think. Bishop England.
They have the Bluffton on Friday. So at Bishop England. But that Bishop England at Beaufort game tomorrow is gonna be a good one.
It is a good one. Really good.
So there's our girls power rankings. So now we shall move to the boys. Let me get the big board switched over.
Man, I was hoping Devon would be doing the Bishop England.
I know he's got Creek. He's got Creek O'Dove, right?
And Wilkinson. That should be fun.
Yeah,
that should be really fun.
So here's where our boys stood last week: Bluffton Prep, May River, JP2, and then a tie between Hampton and Hilton Head. Bluffton took the L to Hilton Head, which was, a little surprising, I guess. They were going to lose at some point, though. Win streaks don't last forever.
Yeah, they don't last
and
forever.
And Hilton Head looked good. Hilton Head Prep has kept rolling. They won't play anybody for a little while. Now they're kind of like the Cross Girls, where they played all their competition up front. Now they're into the coasting part of the schedule. May River is at 2-0. They had to snatch victory from the Jaws defeat against Colleton, but they did, and then they went and won at Bishop England, which Hilton Head was not able to do. John Paul still rolling along. They won tonight big against Northwood, 78-31. They're 9-2. 4 players in double digits. Logan Cotter had 12. That's all I got. Coach Lewis, he keeps his recaps very team first. He doesn't like to shout out individuals and their stats.
I'm getting more intrigued as each game goes by for JP2 to see how far they make playoffs.
They're pretty solid.
They're dangerous.
Then Hampton went 1-0 last week, and Hilton Head had the loss to Bishop England, but then the big win of the week against Bluffton. So it's very muddy, boys. Who's ready to rock and roll?
I'm ready.
You leading off again? All right.
Yeah, I'll lead off again. I saw JP2 last week, and I got there for the entire boys game that I talked about, and I mean, they were just draining shots like crazy in that gym with a big win last week, and just seeing
the Coliseum.
Through
I'm calling
the
it the Coliseum now, by the way.
Yes, the Coliseum.
Yes.
Seeing them through the Bluffton tournament do what they were able to do, seeing them at the Coliseum the other night, I've got them at number 1. They are really impressing me right now.
Hold on, they weren't in the Bluffton tournament. The boys.
You're correct. I did see them previously though, but I've got them at number 1.
Yeah. You saw them against. Did you see them against Bridges?
They are.
That was a good win for them.
I saw them against.
I was at
Wilson
that game.
Hall.
Yeah, JP2 and.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
I saw them against Wilson.
Sorry
Hall.
to derail,
but
I got John Paul.
I've got
JP2 at 1. They are looking sensational right now. It was between them and Hilton Head Prep, but like you said, JJ,
Hilton Head Prep
Hilton Head Prep
win.
And they haven't played anybody lately either.
Oh, they did. Did they play the second time? Oh, yeah, they did.
He got them the first time.
Prep beat them by like 16.
That's right.
That's where you saw him, Marcus. You saw him the second time they played Prep.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
but I saw him against Wilson Hall last week. And so I've got JP2 and Hilton Head Prep at the top 2. Hilton Head Prep obviously not playing many people lately to start the year.
St. Andrews Saturday.
And
that'll
be interesting.
St. Andrews only got Hilton Head boys by 3 this weekend on Saturday. I didn't realize they played until today.
I have a correction.
Prep. They smoked Prep earlier in the season, didn't they?
Yeah, they play again on Saturday.
Yep.
Marcus has a correction.
I have a correction. I do not have Hilton Head Prep 2. I have Hilton Head Prep 3. I forgot about Bluffton. I've got Bluffton 2.
Okay.
So I've got JP2, Bluffton at number 2, Hilton Head Prep at 3. I'm going to go Hampton County at 4. Much like the girls team, the guys are playing really good. They really impressed me in the Bluffton tournament. And then it was, again, kind of a toss-up between a bunch of teams. There are a lot of teams that have been struggling at the outset of the new year, and I went with May River 5. May River continues to do really good work. They're 10-4 on the year, and so
the Seahawks don't make it despite the big win over Bluffton.
Yeah,
I mean, this is messy. It's messy.
It's very messy.
It's
Well, I'm not gonna say I'm shocked because any order is just pure. I mean, this is pure chaos.
I mean, it's all justifiable in some.
That Bluffton loss to
regard.
Hilton Head, that just kind of messed everything up, and then
It did.
Undefeated now in region play, and JP2 continues their winning ways. Prep's been sitting for a week or 2.
This is going to be a jumbled mess.
It's like when you pull
for a little easier.
Whatever way you put it, it doesn't really matter because we just really don't know where to go with this.
That's the beauty of it.
Sure.
Yep.
I mean, it's good. It's going to be very volatile from week to week because people are going to beat each other. So, Max, were you up next in the rotation, or Wes? Wes, you were up next.
Max stole mine the last time, so I will let him go first.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've been debating about this. At 1, I'm going to put May River at 1. I like how they're playing. I really like how they're playing. I know head-to-head, it's not great.
They're 0-2 against Prep.
You said May River?
They're 0-2 against Prep.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They're 0-2 against Prep.
But that win against Bishop England was pretty impressive for me. It's so hard to choose who goes in at 1, but I don't want to put Bluff. Well,
you got some great options there. May River did beat JP2 head to head though, and they've only played once. So I mean, they do have.
What?
But
I was debating between Bluffton and May River for that one spot. I think I'm going to go the safe route. I'm going to put Bluffton at 1. I still like Bluffton. Despite their loss against Hilton Head, I think they're still one of the stronger teams in this area. I still think they're one of the more talented teams in this area, and I think they're going to be fine. It's one loss. They're going to have at least 1 or 2 more losses in region play. I mean, it's a given at this point.
It's a road loss against a rival.
With how competitive this region gets, it's going to be a given, and it's looking already pretty competitive this year. So
I'm more concerned about the fact that you still seem to want to put May River ahead of Hilton Head Prep, and I can't.
Hey, don't let us change your opinion, man. Don't let us change.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm just arming you with facts.
I'm going to put Bluffton at 1. I'm going to put May River at 2. Prep at 3. Now, I could change between Prep and May River if I needed to, but I'm going to put May River there. Prep at 3. Yeah, JB. Ooh.
See, it's so messy. It's like pulling out the Christmas lights and they're all tangled up. Oh, it's this strand. No, it's not.
Yeah. I'm going to put Hilton Head at 4. I think they've earned the spot up with that win over Bluffton. I think they deserved it. They've been playing great basketball as of late. I really like how they've been playing.
Well, you better not go to the Coliseum anytime soon, brother. You're going to be labeled a hater at JP2.
It's so hard choosing these teams. They're all
I know, man. Together. I know. This is why we do it in real time so people can see how you can see it from you can see it from different perspectives, and it's okay.
I gotta put the Seahawks at 4 because how they've been playing the last few weeks has really been impressive, especially in the Seahawk Classic. They played really well in that tournament. They beat out Bluffton this past week, which was
and also the St. Andrews game. I mean, look, Hilton Prep got crushed by him, and Hilton had kept it close.
Good loss. That's a good loss.
It is a good loss. And
they have 10 seniors.
I think it's making Hilton Head look better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it's making Hilton Head look better as a team. Like they are.
Now, the one thing, and I know you're not done, but the one thing, like I wanted to put Hilton Head higher, but sometimes I'm a numbers guy, and you just sometimes you look at the record, they're 4-9. Yeah. Like you can't put a 4-9 team number 1. You just can't. I don't care who you play.
They by far played the toughest.
That's a big reason why I don't have them.
They have played the toughest.
They played Benedictine twice.
Wes, that's the other reason I'm not putting them any higher than 4. Right. Like 4 is the highest I'm going to put them right now. But the way they've been playing, I really like how they've been playing. That win against Bluffton was huge. The highest I'm ever going to go as of right now with Hilton Head, unless they improve that record.
As of right now. Yeah. Well, obviously, as of right now, it's just this week, bro. We get to do it again.
Right. I know. We're doing this again next week. It was just crazy to think about. Hilton Head at 4, JP2 at 5. I got to take Hampton County out, even though I would love to have them in there. But it's so crowded up in the top 5 right now. And these teams are so close together. I could put Hampton County in there, but for now, I'm not going to put him there. So I got Bluffton 1, May River 2, Prep 3, Hilton Head 4, and JP2 5. But, like you said, we are doing this a week from now.
Yeah, it is documented. Very, very
tight documented
in terms of these margins right now.
Now we turn to the voice of reason, Wes Kerr.
Well, it's good to be a homer sometimes, but other times you really have to go. You can't dwell on one game, even if it is recency bias. And so I could say, oh, Hilton looks like the best team, but at the end of the day, it's a season-long rankings as what we saw up to this point. And so you have to evaluate everything. You give a little bit more emphasis to the most recent game, but you're evaluating the whole season so far when you do these power rankings. And so it's easy to dwell on the most recent result, but overall, when you look at the season as a whole, I still think there are several teams that are ahead of Hilton Head despite that win. And it is not easy to choose a top because I mean Bluffton was the clear one, but they took an L. I mean it's not a bad loss. Like I said, road loss to a region foe, and that's rivalry game. It was a little closer than the score would indicate, but Bluffton kind of lost their steam late, so I can't dock them too much for that. But is it enough to knock them off of the top spot? Well, let's see what Hilton Head Prep did. After the loss to Bluffton, they only played one game, and that was against Bethesda. And they blew them out as expected. They smoked them. When you talk about these rankings, you have to give. Like I said, it's easy to dwell on what's happened. But when you look at the season as a whole and what both these teams have done, oh man, it is very, very close.
It's thin margins.
Bluffton has only 2 losses. The losses were to Hilton Head Prep and Hilton Head High. So that winning streak eventually ran out for the Bobcats. They did bounce back at Whale Branch. They won by 12. And then, of course, they split with Prep, but won the tourney game.
And they're both 12-point margins.
Yes, both 12-point margins. Very, very tight. I will give in these situations where it's so close, I give the edge to who won the bigger games, and I still have Bluffton a hair over Hilton Head Prep. I think the Dolphins, the schedule has been a little easier for them, and I think Bluffton still has a little bit more than Hilton Head Prep does, but it's very, very close. So I will go. It just doesn't feel right but you gotta take the whole season into account. I still have Bluffton by a hair. Over everyone else, but it's very close. And then number 2, I gotta go May River. I gotta go with the Sharks. 2 big wins
over Hilton Head Prep.
Over Hilton Head Prep. Well, let's see. Hilton Head Prep. Yeah, May River
Hilton Head Prep's beaten them twice. Pretty.
Yeah, they did. No,
Hilton Head Prep swept May River handily.
Hilton Head Prep swept May. Yeah, you do have to go Prep over. You do have to go Prep based on the transitive when you look or just the head-to-head results. Even though I think eye test right now they're at the same level, May River is playing as well or better than Prep.
You didn't watch most of that Colleton County game.
I have one. I think
39-37. It was a tight one.
Yeah,
they barely got by.
Did not look good for a lot of it.
Yeah.
Guys, okay. I have one thing to interject here when it comes to May River and Hilton Head Prep. I don't believe they've played twice because I'm calling them on the 21st.
They played them twice. They played them in the Battery Creek tournament, and then they played them in
the Bluffton tournament.
I got you. Okay,
and they beat them both times.
They're playing the third time.
Not handily, but
tourney.
So those were both tourney games as well.
They were competitive.
They were very competitive.
Yeah. I'm going to go.
I will mention.
I'm actually going to amend the rankings just a bit. Now I've given more thought to it. I'm going to go Hilton Head Prep 1, Bluffton 2, May River 3, Hilton Head Prep Bluffton 1. Oh, sorry. Hilton Head Prep 1, Bluffton 2, May River 3, Hilton Head High at 4, JP 2 at 5. Just thinking it over just a little bit here.
I'm with you.
Yeah. Just I just don't feel great at keeping.
Yeah.
Left. And I was a little concerned. Now just looking as a whole.
I'm with you. I don't think the
Yeah.
margin was big enough to keep
Yeah,
them at 1 after that
and on
loss.
top of that,
Yep.
I was a little concerned about how Bluffton matched up in terms of their athleticism. Like, I still think they're a good team, but I think Hilton had kind of exposed them just a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah, I agree.
Because they had trouble. They had trouble handling just the athleticism and the physicality, just the size of Hilton Head, I think. And now Bluffton has some great guards and they have some athletic players, but I kind of feel, you see Hilton Prep and what they've been doing, and just the consistency that they play with. Now that just kind of thinking it over, Bluffton, I want to see a bit more consistency from me, because I just feel like in the past, and this is not. I mean, it's hard because you're thinking of what has happened in the past, not just this year. But I do think that this Bluffton team is very good, and obviously you're talking about this year's team, not last year's team. I think that Hilton Head Prep. I just, you kind of know what you're going to get with them, and the very methodical, solid team. That
consistency.
I know they did lose to St. Andrews. That one was, but
that was one of those where they didn't get off the bus, and it was over before it started.
Right.
And,
so Hilton Prep 1, Bluffton 2, May River 3, Hilton High 4, JP 2. Despite, I mean, you hate to see them stay at 5. It's just it's a loaded list of teams in front of them. They killed it, or it's not like JP2. Like, because it's not like it was their fault. It was just Hilton had gotten bigger wins, so you got to move them ahead.
Yeah, the problem for them is just simply that they lost to May River, and that they are 1-1 with Hilton Head Prep, but the loss was bigger than the win. I mean, so that puts them in a.
Put JP2 higher, but they're 4 teams right now that.
But if they just keep winning and people keep losing, they can move up.
Right.
But it doesn't matter anyway. You're not getting anything for this. Like this.
By the way, Carlton
this is just for entertainment purposes.
Right.
Carlton County is on the bubble, and so is Bridges.
They are on the bubble.
I think, but they're not quite there yet. Fish, you've waited so long. How about your boys' rankings?
So I don't really even know who played who per se. I know some matchups. But this is more so based on just what I've seen.
Yeah.
Because I've been at some of the matchups, but for me, Bluffton's won. I don't necessarily get caught up in one loss. I mean, my high school team, we lost a couple conference games, region games. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's it. Region rival on the road, that happens.
Yeah. But I still think they're the most talented.
It's not like football; it's basketball. It's different.
Yeah, any given day. I got them at 1. They still got to clean some stuff up. But I got Prep at 2.
Yeah.
And then for me, I got JP2 at 3. I know everybody likes May River. I think May River has a great coach, and that game was so close that maybe he had something to do with that too. I wasn't at the game, but I think JP2 is more talented across the board. Just player to player personally, I got I'll put May River at 4 and Hilton Head High at 5. I actually do like Hilton Head High. I saw them play Country Day this past Saturday, the first half. They got some talent, man. They ain't many dudes out here scoring like Kyrie.
Didn't stick around for that one, but I heard it was really good.
Kyrie, as you said,
I don't think anybody guarding Kyrie out here, man.
As you said in the group chat, Kyrie is a bucket. He's
Kyrie is a bucket, man.
Speaking of which, I'll roll some highlights here from new Team Lowco intern, boys. Ja'Kai Morrow doing big things. Let me see if I can find these. There they are. We got some highlights we can check out.
So Bluffton Prep, JP2, May River, and then Hilton Head High. I want to see more of Bridges. I like what Bridges has. They don't necessarily.
Yeah.
I know they get kind of young off the bench, but I mean,
look, I'll tell you. There's been years where you didn't feel real good about the 5 teams you were putting in your top 5 boys teams around here, and this year you feel bad about some of the teams you're leaving out, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I got mine. I flip-flopped. I went Prep to 1, Bluffton to 2, just because I had them, as essentially tied anyway, and I was giving Bluffton the edge because they had won the more recent matchup. So, I'll penalize them for the loss and drop them to 2, but they can flip flop at any moment if they have a big week. I went May River at 3, slight edge over JP2 just because they have the head-to-head win, and then I slid Hilton Head in at 5. I think it's razor thin. I think you can make the argument for Bridges, maybe even Colleton or Hampton over Hilton Head, but I think with the big win, the strength of schedule they played, and then that win over Bluffton, and just the way they played recently is enough for me to
I
put them in my
don't
top
know how
5.
many teams they played from South Carolina before.
Not a lot.
They got in the region play, so
no,
they've
challenged
themselves.
He's not afraid. I saw Shane this weekend when I was at the high school for the wrestling tournament, and we talked a little bit, and I was like, dude, like, you got something good? He's like, yeah, it's we're playing well right now. The 10 seniors thing, I noticed the 10 senior banners on the wall in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Was like, holy cow. Like, that is something that, unless you've coached high school boys, you cannot possibly understand the value of having 10 seniors on your roster.
Oh, that's
like
invaluable.
the maturity level, the leadership that you get from that is unreal. I mean, that's 17, 18-year-old boys are way different beasts than 15 and 16-year-old boys when it comes to maturity.
For me, the sole reason they are at 5 is because of record. Because they got some talent over there, man.
Look, we're going to get to see them play Bluffton again, and obviously they've already beaten them once. If they sweep it, if they win in the Den, that would be huge. They're going to get a chance to prove that the strength of schedule is the reason for the record, and when they get to the playoffs, it won't matter, right? What your record is. So they're a good team though, and Shane Brown is a hell of a coach, man. He really coaches. He adapts to his personnel. He always has so many interchangeable parts. I mean, you can't get them in foul trouble because they got 3 dudes that do the exact same thing coming off the bench and look exactly the same.
Right.
And
they got a young boy over there too. They got a young boy over there too. I don't know how much he plays.
Yeah,
I heard he's supposed to be all right too.
Well, I mean, it's hard to get a freshman on the roster when you got 10 seniors.
Yeah.
That's tough. Yeah. And he will benefit from development on JV too. Because one of the byproducts of our varsity programs being better at the boys level is we have better JV programs, and kids are actually getting some development there. And to that end, we're having a JV boys tournament at the Ville for MLK weekend, Saturday, Monday, which I love. I love ADs who are working to get more live game reps for the kids we're developing. That is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, could do a lot of stuff around here, man, to benefit the area, not just schools, but like restaurants, hotels. Like, I mean, this would be a good spot. It's just somebody got to be willing.
Come to the Ville, baby. We're building it.
Here's the one thing I'm going to say about Bluffton. Despite that loss against Hilton Head, which was it's significant, but of course it's early in the season, early in region play. I will say, so far this season, I've noticed Bluffton's ability to adapt and be able to, learn from a game and be able to improve on it. So I
for sure, well coached team.
I mean, we watched it when they played Prep at Bluffton. Me and Wes saw them at Prep a few weeks before the Bobcat Classic, and it was just not the Bluffton team we expected to see. And they changed that around. They learned from the mistakes they made in that game, and of course, they were at home against Hilton Head, and they were able to get the win out to win that tournament. I'm intrigued to see what they can do to improve and be able to learn from this game against Hilton Head for when they play them at the Den. I'm intrigued to see if they're able to learn from the mistakes, or is Hilton Head going to get the better?
Well, yeah, that's they'll learn for sure. I mean, from their last loss, they won 11 in a row after that. So
right.
that's a sign that they got the red ass and they got after it for a few weeks, and they just had an off night. I mean, it looks like this game was called pretty loose. Like they really let them bang inside. And Hilton Head was physical with them and didn't give them anything cheap going to the basket. And they didn't get all the foul calls that they would maybe ordinarily get or often get. And
it's a rivalry game.
And they missed some. Yeah. I'm not saying that is a bad thing. I'm just saying you have to, absolutely. You adapt to how the game is called. And as a coach, you can really impact the game in a big way if you recognize that and instruct your guys to play a certain way. I think Hilton Head just had the better night, and
that could wear on you too, because I mean it's not like deep, man. They're not playing a lot of guys, and then trying to play catch up. Now you're having to exert more energy, and I mean
that's kind of what I picked up from the highlights. Yeah,
just based
absolutely.
on these highlights, they just made shots. Like sometimes it happens.
Yep, they fought through contact and made some of those shots, and Bluffton didn't convert. And I mean that's what it comes down to at the end of the day is execution. And
I mean they could be the better team for all we know, man. They haven't played anybody.
They might be,
so
they really might be. Yeah, that's kind of the point. We don't really know. But here's what we got for now. We got Bluffton still narrowly hanging on to the top spot over Hilton Head Prep in our rankings. They got them by 2 points. So very close. And then May River, JP2, and Hilton Head, and it's May River's 1 point ahead of JP2. So it's slim margins, boys, but that's how we stacking them up. I think Bridges is right there on the cusp. I think Colleton County still could make some noise in that region. I mean, it's gonna be hard without Amari Sanders. He was going to be a big part of it, and he's not back in school yet. He's doing much better though. Chris Myers let me know that he's last report he's doing okay. He's going to be okay, but he's not been back in school yet. So basketball is probably a long way from his mind. But did you hear about that, Fish?
No,
Colleton County kid. Yeah, he took a stray bullet at a Sweet 16 cookout. It's crazy stuff, man.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. I was like, wait, who are we talking about again?
And he's one of their big. He's like their 6'4" wing guy. Plays wide receiver, and
it was like some kids over there shooting, or like
I don't know. I mean, I was told somebody came out of the woods shooting, like how it is these days. In some of these parts of our area, there's a lot of that kind of stuff going on. Kids have too easy access to guns, and it's scary. Scary stuff. It happens, but it's always scary when it was, when an athlete's involved, because typically those kids are not running in that crowd, and but even the ones who aren't are often adjacent to it, and it's really easy to be in the wrong spot at the wrong time. So continue to send thoughts and prayers to him, but that definitely impacts them. But Colleton is a solid team. Let me get some more sponsors real quick, and then we'll move along. Varsity sponsors: DDS Web Design builds, hosts, maintains websites for businesses and nonprofits to get results. So check them out if you want to get online. DDSHHI.com. Parker Law Group serves legal needs across Colleton, Hampton, and Jasper counties and helps us shine a light on the Lowco frontier and highlight more deserving teams and student athletes. Dr. Ambrose Cole, our official chiropractor. He's at Rooted Living Wellness in Bluffton. He'll get you feeling right, mind, body, and spirit. And Reverence Wrestling Club, the official wrestling sponsor and presenting sponsor of the Lowco Grind. Fish, you need to get out of here, bud?
Yeah, I'm gonna hit it, man.
Got stuff to do? All right, brother. We appreciate you. We'll see you in the gym.
All right, man. I'll catch up.
See you.
All right.
Thanks, man. Oh, it's good talking with Coach Fish. I figured I'd let him get out before we got into other topics. He's a hoop head, Although I did pick up that he played on a top 25 baseball team in high school.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Leverage that. Might have to leverage that. I could see him slinging it now up on the hill. Mm-hmm. Getting down that hill. Yeah, I'd like to see him pitch. Probably doesn't have the rotator cuff and great.
Kevin Libby will tell you I was slinging the softball to him the other day.
Yeah, you popped a few puzzles on his hand. He wasn't ready for all that. you were popping it pretty good once you got loose.
Yeah.
But I don't have a lot of details on the wrestling from this weekend, the Bluffton duels, but I'm pretty sure May River won that. I know that they smoked the people in the scores that I did see. And then we had the JV and middle school qualifier on Saturday. And let me tell you, much stronger area qualifier than last year. The growth of wrestling in the Low Country so we had Beaufort, Colleton, and Dorchester counties. Dorchester County is bananas. You got Somerville, Cane Bay, Ashley Ridge, 3 5A schools in Dorchester County, and then you got Woodland. So all the middle schools that feed all of them were there. Massive brackets. Truman was in a split bracket because they had like 24 kids in 102. So they split it into 2. In the other brackets, they took the top 5, and the split bracket's only the top 3. Just so happened in the random draw that the one bracket 102A was stacked. 102B was a little bit weaker, and we got in the A bracket where we faced in round 1 our nemesis, Striker Milligan from East Edisto, future Ashley Ridge Swamp Fox, knocked us out of the sectional last year. Wrestled him tough as hell, made him bleed. It was 6-4 when we drew blood. That kicked Striker into a different gear, and he was able to run a sweet 3/4 Nelson and stack Truman up and get the pin, and bloodied him up a little bit. It was a hell of a fight. So then we had to fight all the way through the backside, try to get back into the 3rd place match for a shot to go to sectionals. We did. We made it through 2 pins to get there. And then who was waiting for us but old Striker Milligan. And so we took 2 L's to Striker Milligan. He ends our individual season for the 2nd straight year. But you know, you got to beat the best to be the best. And Truman wrestled him tough as hell both times, and really proud of him. So we got four Bulldogs going on to the sectionals. A bunch of area kids had success this weekend, and awesome to see. So love my wrestling, as you guys know. I know May River's still number 1 in 4A, and we got some good matches coming up over the next couple of weeks with good duels. Good duels on tap. Beaufort at May River, Hilton Head at Bluffton on Wednesday this week. So those are good region matchups. What else you boys want to talk about? What's happening?
It's go ahead, Max.
Wes did mention Mike McCarthy was fired today by the Dallas Cowboys.
Sure did.
I'm a bit shocked by that. I mean, we talked about that last week and saying, could he be fired or let go?
I thought he was gonna. I thought he was gonna
stay around, especially because the Cowboys had a great finish to the year.
Well, I was like, do the Cowboys get rid of him? Because at this moment, who do they have in terms of head coaching options? Right. Because at that point, Mike Vrabel was like the only option.
Well, now he's off the board.
Yeah, but he was going to the Pats always.
Oh yeah, obviously.
So who is still available for Dallas to go after? Because at this point, I wonder if Jared Jones has someone in mind. Because at this point, you will need to nail this hire. And today I heard about Deion.
You think he's going? Yeah, I mean, I've been saying that.
I was about to say
that'd be fun.
I was about to say, is Deion
that would be an absolute circus. An absolute circus. Yep.
I do think Deion's probably going to Vegas, though.
Circus
but
all the way through.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys make a run at the Lions OC.
Yeah.
Ben Johnson.
Yeah, Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
I knew it was an ordinary name.
It would be a good option.
Think of it off the top of my head.
He knows how to run. He knows how to run an offense. That's for sure. I mean, look. Let's just put it this way. You mentioned circus, Wes. As long as Jerry Jones is the general manager,
it's going to be a circus regardless.
That's what I said the other night.
He's a carnival barker.
He is. He really is. Which makes me think he's going to look at Deion Sanders. Like honestly, you want to get people talking than get Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
And just
No doubt. No doubt. I think
I don't. The thing I would say is I don't know.
But he's got a quarterback, and Deion comes with his own Louis.
Here's the thing. I'm going to say this, and it might be crazy to say, but I don't know if Deion Sanders is ready to leave Colorado just yet. Like, I don't know if he's ready to make that move to the NFL just yet. I think he still wants to prove people at the college level because I don't know if he's done that enough yet.
Right.
He had a great season this year with Colorado, but I don't know if he's ready for that next stage.
What we don't know though is whether he actually believes he can prove them wrong there, or if it's all facade and he knows that there's no light at the end of the tunnel. So if you get a chance to go get that NFL money, go get it.
Yeah, of course. I'll put it this way. While he may be losing a quarterback,
I really think he's just a dad who wants to coach his kids at the end of the day.
Which isn't a terrible thing. Like, I'm not
No,
I don't.
It's not a bad thing at all, but I just think he's going I think he started coaching college when they got into college for a reason, and I think he's going to start coaching in the NFL when they go to the NFL.
And here's the thing. It wouldn't be the Dallas Cowboys. Shadur's not going to Dallas.
No, that's why I think he's going to Vegas.
Yeah.
I think he's going to Vegas. I think they're getting a package deal.
And
I think that's why they cleared everybody out.
Question two, where does Dallas go? Because obviously it's more likely he would go to Vegas to coach his son, right? So like
they're going to interview every
we have Ben Johnson,
coordinator. Pete Carroll has put himself in the conversation, and that's I mean, Parcells and Jerry was actually a really good fit. I think Jerry needs a veteran coach that he trusts, who will put his foot down at times and say, "No, Jerry, I can't budge on this one," and Jerry will know that it's one he can't budge on. So
let's just put it that way. He needs a general manager first before he gets a coach.
Well, but Carroll's gonna be the general manager.
I know, Marcus. I know that's not happening. It's not going to happen as long as Jerry Jones.
That's what I'm saying, though. He's never going to hire a general manager. He will only hire a coach he trusts to be his co-general manager.
If he hired a general manager, it's going to be within his own family. I mean, we know that. Like his whole organization.
I think Pete Carroll is a very viable.
Pete Carroll might be the option. He might be.
He's the kind of guy who would tell him in the interview.
Chicago Bears were looking at him. The Chicago
where
Bears
the line
had an interview with Pete Carroll this week. They had
that would be
that
would be a home run hire for them. But I also think they'll be in on McCarthy now
because Pete Carroll will be going into a franchise that now has a franchise quarterback.
The other big shoe is, if Pittsburgh moves on from Tomlin, he won't be unemployed for more than about 48 hours.
Absolutely. Someone's going to pounce. Someone's going to pounce if he does indeed leave Pittsburgh, which is still something that it would be shocking to me if maybe they do. Maybe if they really want to.
I think they'd be foolish, but I think they might.
I honestly, maybe they do, and it would be a shocking move just because
he settled that man with Russ, and he still got to the playoffs. Come on.
Here's my thing with Tomlin. True. I love Tomlin. I think he's one of the best coaches in the NFL. Period.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say this: I don't know how well he'd fit with Jerry Jones.
I just think he needs a change of scenery.
Eye to eye on certain things. Like I don't know. I would love to see Mike Tomlin in Dallas.
Nobody can know, but
Dallas would be huge, a big deal for the Dallas Cowboys and a huge help for Dak Prescott. But
as much of a clown as Jerry is, though, I think he's in a way he's a good owner to work for from a coach's standpoint, because one thing that he does, and I think he does it intentionally, is he'll take the heat off you. He will go on the radio and say some wild shit just to get people to stop talking about what happened on Sunday. And that is like really valuable cover sometimes.
And I mean, we're talking about the team that everybody pays attention to, even if they're not a Dallas Cowboys fan. It is America's team. Everyone's gonna watch it. People from
and the reason I say that about I think his relationship with coaches is different than what we see or what we perceive, because he's had some really highly respected coaches stay there a long time. And
very true.
when they could have gone anywhere. So it's, I don't think it's a bad job. I really don't. I think it's a great job for the right person.
Job.
For the right
money is going to be crazy, and B, you got a good team already that you're walking into. I mean, look at
you got an owner who will spend money.
Look at that defense. If Mike Tomlin or Pete Carroll was walking in, he has a defense to work with. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, you got some.
And those are players, coaches.
Obviously, they're going to need to look for. They're going to need to look for a running back this offseason because let's be honest, the rushing game sucked this year.
They
played the Falcons like midway through the season, and up to that game, they had not had a rush for over 20 yards going into that game.
Right.
Do you want to know? Do you want to know who got the first rush for 20 plus yards? It was Dak Prescott, their quarterback, not a running back. It was their quarterback. Ezekiel Elliott. I don't know why you would sign Ezekiel Elliott, and they're going to release him anyway. Released him, as far as I know. The
main reason they got better was because they started feeding Rico Dowdle. They should have been feeding him from the start.
Yep.
He's way better than Zeke.
Ezekiel got injured, or he got sat down. I don't know what it was because I couldn't be bothered to pay attention to Ezekiel Elliott. And then they went and signed Dalvin Cook.
I think it was just general disinterest. From Ezekiel Elliott.
At this point, I mean, we're talking about Ezekiel Elliott, who's beyond his prime. He's cooked at this point. Let's just put it as it is. He's cooked. He's never going to have a great NFL rushing season ever again.
Yeah, he's done.
His rookie season was his best season, and it will never be like that again. I think if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you wish you could have picked up either Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley, or kept what's his name? Who's now in Tennessee? I can't think of his name.
Pollard.
Yeah, Pollard.
Yeah. Pollard. Tony Pollard. I would have kept Pollard. To be honest, he was a good running back. I really did like.
I'm gonna table the NFL discussion for now because it's 11-12.
Well, before we do, just one quick point. Okay. More positive news in the Cowboys. Jerry Jones is certainly, a lot of people have not been happy about him. I'll tell you, one owner who people are very happy about right now. Congratulations, Josh Harris. Congratulations to the Washington Commanders. What a win!
That was awesome.
That was awesome. Doink. The divisional doinked it in.
So Deion Sanders, by the way, we were mentioning Deion Sanders. He did post something on social media and then mentioned something to Adam Schefter. He said to hear from Jerry Jones is truly delightful and it's intriguing. I love Jerry and I believe in Jerry. After you hang up and process it and think about it, it's intriguing. But I love Boulder and there's and everything there is about our team, the coaches, and our student body and the community. So it kind of sounds like for now he doesn't want to take the Dallas Cowboys job. So in my opinion, you're going to have to go either after
the party left out was, and I'm waiting to see who's going to draft my son.
Yeah, right.
They want to hire him.
I think they missed the big picture there.
I really think that is the thing for him. Like I think I
don't have any problem with that whatsoever. He's a family man. He is a great man of God, and I do like him. I love Deion Sanders, and I believe here's what I'll say. I think he can coach at the NFL level. If
he's not the coach wherever Shedeur is next year, he will be the coach wherever Shedeur signs his next contract.
No question.
Agreed.
I will guarantee you that.
Yes. And you know what? That's okay with me. I'd like to see Deion in Colorado for a few more years.
I mean, look, it's the best storyline for Deion and Shedeur to go to.
Can I be honest? Because they're losing Shedeur Sanders at Colorado, but they picked up a quarterback who had recently committed to USC and switched over and committed to Colorado, and that's the number one quarterback who's not far from here in Georgia, Julian Lewis, a 5-star quarterback who's going to be heading to Colorado next year. And that kid is absolutely unbelievable. I watched film on that dude. He's going to be great for Colorado. And I think Deion is trying to build a program there, a program that can be successful when he leaves. So I'd love to see Deion stay in Colorado for a few years, and then when Shedeur signs his next contract, wherever that may be, I would love to see Deion and Shedeur get back together. I think that'd be fantastic. I totally agree with you, Justin.
Yes, sir. All right, let's table the football discussion. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on tomorrow night before we go back into parting thoughts. So on the hoops front, we got O-Dub at Battery Creek. That one's on Buford's own. Bishop England at Beaufort. That girls game is very intriguing. Colleton County at Bluffton. Boys game could be a fun little scrap.
I'll be there.
But Bluffton could also come out and
I have a feeling they're going to come out a little bit angry about that.
They might go ham. May River at Hilton Head, and I believe Wes will be in the nest for that one.
Yes.
That boys game is very interesting, and the girls game I think is interesting as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think that one's gonna be up for the taking. I kind of like Hilton Head a bit, but May River, despite some injuries, I think they have an opportunity to show themselves out in this game. I'm excited to see how the Sharks fare away from with the nest. Should be an interesting one. I expect May River to compete. I think Hilton win by about a couple points, handful. But the guys' game could be an absolute dogfight. I'm really pumped for that one.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Should be really
Edisto at Bridges Prep. Boys game should be good as well. Hampton County at Barnwell. All the games in that region are fun. Lake Marion at Whale Branch. Those are all good. Hardyville going to Bamberg. Ridgeland at Royal Live Oaks. Cross county rivalry in the region play. Royal Live Oaks, I don't think they've really played any non-region games. They just play in the region schedule. So, and then we got Liberty County at Cross Girls. Cross Boys, I don't think have one on the schedule. Hilton Head Christian at Lawrence Manning. Calhoun Academy at Patrick Henry. Colleton Prep at Orangeburg Prep. And then we've also got Bethesda at Cross on the boys' side. And Colleton Prep at Andrew Jackson.
Ooh.
They just played the other day. Yeah. They just played the other day, and OP girls rolled them. Yeah, bad.
All right.
Yeah. OP's good. I think OP might be the best team in Skiza 3A girls. I think they're maybe the team to beat there.
I want to see. So. Well, yeah, that's very true.
Good.
Because I don't know if I'd love to see Hilton Prep play them, but I don't know if it'd be close. I'm not sure. I think watch.
I'm gonna try to get. I want to get to the nest tomorrow night. Honestly, that's where I want to be.
I would love to go to all of those games, but unfortunately, I have to work and cover youth.
He's a working man.
County. Yeah, hey man, I got to
the life of a working man.
If I get paid,
that's right.
For youth sports, then I'm going to.
We have to move the start to 10 o'clock if you're gonna head over the nest.
Maybe I might. No, I might be able to bail. I might bail early or something. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. I know I know how the Christian Academy games are going to go. Unfortunately, Lawrence. Yeah. I don't know how close it's going to be between Lawrence Manning. Unfortunately, this is the one thing I don't like about the basketball teams playing in 4A. I just don't think either one of them wants to be in 4A right now.
It stinks for us. 3A,
yeah.
It stinks for us because it's really hard to justify spending your night going out to watch HHCA play or JP2 play a team from out of area when then if they lose, you feel like you've wasted your night in a way when you could have gone to a Lowco on Lowco game where somebody was going to win,
like any of those Columbia area schools that come down here to play from 4A division. Any of those Columbia schools, you don't want to go watch those games because you just know those Columbia schools are on another level. And it's unfortunate, like Heathwood Hall, which I believe was last week between Christian Academy and not Heathwood Hall.
Now the JP2 teams are on that level right now. So
the JP2 teams are looking good. The boys team, I'm very intrigued to see how the boys team does.
So
they're great.
They got Lawrence Manning. They got 4 games in 5 days this week, JP2. So they're
are they all region games?
It's a big stretch.
I think JP2's at home tomorrow too, and it's not on my schedule here, but they so they're at home tomorrow, not tomorrow. The boys are home tomorrow, I believe, against Camden Military. Yeah. And then the girls, though, they have Lawrence Manning at home on Thursday and then at Trinity Collegiate on Friday. Those are two really good matchups.
Yeah.
Really good.
Those are really good matchups.
Sure.
That's going to be
a
fun.
lot.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
Yep.
For
yeah.
too. That is a lot.
Yeah.
It's a crazy, crazy week. And like I said, the guys have 4 in 3 days.
Wow.
They have Camden. They had Northwood tonight, Camden tomorrow, Lawrence Manning on Thursday, Trinity Collegiate on Friday.
Yeah, a lot for JP too.
A lot of basketball.
I want to see how Chris, and for that reason, I would like to see how Chris County ends up playing against Lawrence Manning. Then I want to see how JP2 does against Lawrence Manning. Because I want to see how close and how good JP2's boys team is. Like, I know the girls team is really good, but I don't know when they get to the playoffs how far they're going to go. I'm a little more intrigued right now at how the JP2 boys could do if they get to the playoffs, because as the way they're playing right now, I'm very intrigued to see how they can, handle some of the teams from the Columbia area. Because if they got a team as talented as I think they are, I think they're going to move up to my Locos.
Yeah, we're about to find out. That's what I was saying earlier. If they're playing a tough enough schedule in their region that if they keep winning and people lose here and there, they're going to move up in our rankings. Again, not that it matters. It does. You don't win anything for winning our rankings.
We said it enough times tonight that this Lowco rankings is just going to change every week, especially for the boys. Yeah. Because this week it's just a mess because Bluffton lost. May River beat Bishop England. Like, who would have thought that?
Rankings are designed to be volatile. That's why you put them out every week.
Absolutely. And that's why we enjoy them and also stress out about them because we're
very fluid situation.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself. I don't stress out about them. I just
do.
say it, and then next week it'll be something else. That's the way it is.
May not be welcome.
All right.
For putting them at 3. I'm just going to say that now.
It is what it is. Lowco Booster Club. We got the Court Lifestyle Pros, Daniel and Debbie Court with Charter One Realty. Let them bring you home to Hilton Head Island. Eagle Creations has promotional items and custom apparel plus much more over on Argent Boulevard. Check them out to see what they can do for you. Jay's Barbershop's in downtown Ridgeland, and it's a great place to get a haircut and hear some great conversation. Barefoot Floor Care, the Low Country. That's the folks you want to call if you want to get your floors so clean your feet will thank you. Hudson Seafood House on the Docks, presenting sponsor of Under the Bus. New episode coming at you tomorrow. I can't go to the nest. I'm doing Under the Bus tomorrow. And Hurricane Sports Cafe, the place to be for food and beverage out in Hampton. If you're hungry or thirsty, stop in and say hi. All right. Parting thoughts, and let's keep them semi-brief. It's I
gotta hit hay and get to bed.
But I'm tired.
Yeah, I'm tired. My parting thought: it's cold. It's cold out there.
It's cold.
It just seems like it's been really. It has been so unseasonably cold around here. The last week or so, it definitely feels a lot more like winter than it has in recent years. But it is going to warm up a bit over the weekend, which will be pretty nice. But
it's going to rain this weekend. It's going to be cold next week, early in the week. Highs in the 40s.
I love basketball. I love basketball season, but I hate the weather, man. This stuff.
It's
still don't have a heater, by the way.
Yep.
Get that man a heater.
I'm gonna get one on my tomorrow. I'm picking one up on my way to work tomorrow and bringing it home because if I have to do another show in this office with
you're gonna early next week.
It's gonna be
turn into an ice.
All right. Wes has the floor. Wes has the floor.
Was
that it?
Cool.
Brief. I didn't know if there was
2 hours. I'm trying to.
I didn't know if there was more to it.
No, I'm trying to keep this brief. I'm trying to keep this brief.
Real quick, does anybody know a score of the Minnesota LA game? I saw
it was gone final. It is your final score. Minnesota falls to the Rams. LA 27, Minnesota 9. The Rams will travel to Philadelphia for the divisional round. We'll have the Eagles hosting the Rams. The Washington Commanders heading to Detroit to take on the Lions, and then the AFC, it'll be the Texans and your Kansas City Chiefs, and then probably the matchup of the weekend, Ravens Bills.
Yeah.
Let
them beat each other up.
That Detroit Commanders game is going to be fun to watch.
So fun. So fun.
The other one?
Like, what's the over/under on 4th down attempts in that game? Like
5
9.5
or more
combined.
Yeah,
like they both go for it on 4th down all the time. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I will say the other one. I was very interested by that Minnesota Vikings game because if anyone remembers, there was a video after the game between Dan Campbell and
see you in a couple weeks.
See you in 2 weeks, and sure enough, that's not gonna be
so, not happening.
Anyway,
Sam Donald is he was seeing those ghosts again. That was the old rumor. Right?
We'll never know. We'll never know how much money Sam Darnold cost himself the last 2 weeks.
Dude, it's so tragic too because I was like, dude, I'm really rooting for Sam this year, man. He's had a rough go of it, but this year he did great, and I was just like, dude, 2 more weeks, man, you're gonna get through it. You're gonna get to the postseason. You're gonna do great work, and sure enough, those 2 weeks came along, and just so tough, really tough. I feel bad for him, but I also am like, dude, you had a great.
On the other hand,
worried about
the Rams could be dangerous moving forward. I mean, when the Rams are at full strength, I still think they're a prolific offensive team, especially when they have Kupp and Puka in there. Matthew Stafford's playing at a high level, and the defense showed up. So I think they're going to give a challenge to Philadelphia. I think that game will be up for grabs. I think I think both NFC games will really. I mean, I expect Kansas City to take care of Houston. I think the other 3 games, not quite sure. Not quite sure. I think Detroit probably gets it done.
Going to make it an adventure.
Detroit probably gets it done, but I will say Washington. Washington's going to hang around.
I also didn't think Houston was going to win by as much as they did against LA. I thought it was going to be a closer game than that. So, like, I know the Chiefs are really good, but like, don't think it's going to be a cakewalk against Houston because Houston can surprise people. But I will say I think Kansas City wins, but I wouldn't say it's a cakewalk for them in this game.
I think Kansas City pulls away the second half.
Here's my prediction. Oh boy, am I excited to watch my favorite team play.
Yep, that's right.
Nice, we won.
Yeah,
I do think the Chiefs will win convincingly in this game.
That really
not any disrespect about Houston, but I just think I kind of feel like Kansas City is going to assert themselves in this game.
Yeah. Fresh legs after a week off. 2 weeks off really because the starters got to rest last week. I feel pretty good about it. But I think it's a good matchup, a good round of matchups. I think all the games will be
very good.
Be fun
this
to watch,
is always the best week of football.
Right, you got, and then of course national championship on Monday between Notre Dame and Ohio State.
Tremendous.
Well, I have nothing to add to that. Both teams Monday night of next week. Not sure if it's going to be a Notre Dame shirt and Ohio State socks or vice versa, whatever. But
well, a week from now, we will have a national champion crown unless we had we probably not because unless we have like 10 rounds of 2-point conversion overtime.
True.
Possible.
True. Yeah. Good point.
I have brief parting thoughts. Like Wes said, it's cold. I don't like that. Gaston Moore has still not made a decision. I've been waiting to see what's going on with that, but I have not heard anything yet.
Well, ain't no big rush, is there?
I don't think so, but you're starting.
You want to see what all's out there. You want to see what all's out there.
To wonder where his options are, and I'm wondering what his options would be, but
there's definitely a spot for him. There's definitely
there's got to be somewhere. Someone's wanting him as their starting quarterback. I know that for a fact.
No doubt.
No need to rush into it.
I did mention. I mentioned on the group chat the other day that the Falcons fired their defensive coordinator.
I didn't know.
I'm gonna be honest. I know I'm a big Falcons fan, but even I didn't even know what the name.
You could have made up a name for all I knew.
Knew of him. I think he came from Boise, if memory serves.
You could have made up a name for all I knew. What was that name?
Jimmy Lake.
I don't remember.
Jimmy Lake. I was
Jimmy
like,
Lake.
who is that? Who is that?
And I texted, I was like, exactly, even I didn't know who that was until he got fired. And I was like, well, looks like they're looking for a new
Nice knowing you, Jimmy.
They need to look for one. I know that defense has got potential. They just need the right defensive coordinator for it.
Yeah.
Rough
I know.
stuff.
All right, boys. Well, there's lots of
Anyway,
other people who know
that's it
more
for
than
me.
us you can listen to for NFL takes, but nobody knows more about Lowco sports than us. So come back to tomorrow night if you want more of our local sports analysis, because we'll have a lot of local.
Yes,
we won't have to be talking NFL tomorrow.
Ton
We got a lot
of high
to talk
school
about.
hoops to talk about. And there's going to be some great matchups, as I said, led by that Hilton Head May River game, which I don't know how it's going to finish. Hilton Head's playing some great. Both these teams are kind of peaking at the right, like they're peaking right now. I think May River and Hilton Head boys are playing their best basketball year, so I am pumped to see how this goes down the nest, and who will really kind of have a chance to take control. May River, like, really has a chance to take control of this region. Obviously, they haven't played Bluffton yet, but a win would go a long way for the Sharks to really assert themselves in this region.
Every win is huge, especially on the road. I mean, they won at Bishop England. If they can get a win at Hilton Head as well, that's a really big leg up on the region the rest of the way. So, tomorrow night's going to be fun. It's fun to watch it all start to really take shape and see what we got. So we also had some great conversation with Fish tonight, just talking big picture stuff and One Lowco and what we're trying to build there, trying to get more kids just in the right mindset and in the right mode to be the best they can be. And so that we can talk about how great they are on here when they go do big things. So thanks to Fish for hopping in and talking hoops with us, helping us with the Lowco Power Rankings. Thanks to all of our sponsors, especially the OGs, our All-Stars, Mickelson Law Firm. Thanks to you boys, the best wingman in the business. And thanks to all of you for showing up to listen or watch. We'll be back tomorrow night, 9:30-ish, maybe a little later if we have a late close finish at the nest, but we'll be here at some point to tell you what all happened on the Lowco sports scene. So for Max Araj, Wes Kerr, and Marcus Walsh, I'm Justin Jarrett. Till tomorrow, go Lowco. The Lowco Sports Lowdown podcast is a production of Lowco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing. Go Lowco.